Hi class 10th. Today we start with our next chapter, that is chapter number 14 of your NCERT, that is sources of energy. So first we will learn about what is the source of energy. So source from which we can harness the energy is known as the source of energy. So we can define it as the sources from which energy can be obtained to provide heat, light, power, etc. is known as the source of energy. So next we will discuss about the different type of resources. So the type of resources are divided into 4 subcategories. First is renewable source, second non-renewable, third conventional resources, and the last one is non-conventional resources. So now we will discuss about renewable and non-renewable resource of energy. So first we will discuss about renewable resource of energy. So what is renewable resource? A resource that can be used repeatedly and does not run out after its multiple use is known as renewable resource of energy. And what is non-renewable resource of energy? The non-renewable resource of energy are those natural resources that are available in limited quantity. These resources cannot be renewed or replenished in short duration. Okay, so let's discuss some of its examples. The examples which come under the heading of renewable resources are solar energy, air energy, wind energy, ocean energy, soil and plants energy. And the examples which come under non-renewable resources are fossil fuels, under which we have oil, coal and natural gas, metallic mineral such as iron, copper, aluminium, non-metallic minerals such as salt and phosphate. So next we will discuss about conventional and non-conventional sources of energy. Let's first discuss about conventional sources of energy. So what is conventional source of energy? Conventional sources of energy are the natural energy resources which are present in a limited quantity and are being used for a long time. For example, coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. And these conventional sources are non-renewable. Next, we will discuss about non-conventional sources of energy. So what is non-conventional sources of energy? These are the energy sources which are continuously replenished by the natural processes. So these cannot be exhausted. For example, solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, biomass energy, geothermal energies, etc. So these sources are renewable. So here is the pie chart which shows that how extensively the different energies fulfill our requirements in India. So first one is coal, which is extensively used, then petroleum and natural gas, then hydro, that is water energy, then nuclear, and the last one is wind. So now we will discuss about the different conventional sources of energy. So first conventional source of energy is fossil fuel. So what are fossil fuels and how they are obtained? Let's discuss it first. Fossil fuels are formed by the natural processes such as anaerobic decomposition, of buried dead plants and animals. So now what is anaerobic decomposition? The decomposition which occurs in the absence of oxygen is known as anaerobic decomposition. So here we have three types of fossil fuel. First is coal, second crude oil, and third one is natural gas. So now we will discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of fossil fuel. So first we will discuss about the advantages of fossil fuel. First, a very large amount of energy can be generated with the help of fossil fuel, as when they burn, they liberate large amount of heat energy. Second, it is very easy to transport the fossils from one place to another, as we can easily pass it through pipelines. Third, engines using fossil fuels are very efficient. This means only a small quantity of energy is lost. Next, fossil fuels are easily obtainable and can be stored almost anywhere, as they occupy a less amount of space. Now we will discuss about the disadvantages of fossil fuel. So first disadvantage of fossil fuel is it is non-renewable, which means once they are used, they are ended permanently. Second, they cause pollution. Third, they need to be extracted from the mines, so they cause a large amount of destruction, such as landslides or destroying large areas. So now next we will discuss about thermal power plant. Now what is the meaning of thermal? Thermal means heat. So in thermal power plant, the heat energy obtained from combustion of solid fuel is used to convert water into steam. And now we know that the steam has more kinetic energy. So this steam is at high pressure and at high temperature. Now this steam is used to run the turbines. Why it is used to run the turbine? As steam possesses high kinetic energy. So when this high kinetic energy particles strike the turbine starts rotating. And this turbine is further connected to the generators, and these generators convert the kinetic energy of the turbine into the electrical energy. So this is how we can obtain electricity by thermal power plant. Now next we will discuss about hydroelectric power plant. Now what do you mean by the word hydro? Hydro means water. So hydroelectric power plant help to generate electricity with the help of water. So now let's discuss about how this hydroelectric power plant work. Now first we will see the basic components which are used for the setup of hydroelectric power plant. First we will see here there is a sluice gate, and then there is a penstock. This passage is known as penstock. And then we have a turbine, and after the water hit this turbine, you will see that it passes into the rivers. So let's discuss its working. Initially, the water of the river is in the catchment areas. Now, from catchment area, the water flow into the dam. Now, at the dam, the water get accumulated, means the water stored in the dam. So the potential energy of the water increases. Why it increases? Because the dams are situated at certain height. So due to height, its potential energy increases. Now when this sluice gate opens, the dams are open, then the water move with high kinetic energy into the penstock. This streamline area is known as penstock. Now through the penstock, water goes into the turbine house. Since the penstock make water to flow from high altitude to the low altitude, thus the kinetic energy of the water is again raised. Next step, in the turbine house, the pressure of the water is controlled by the controlling valves as per the requirement. Now, due to the pressure of the water, the lightweight turbine starts rotating. Now, due to the high speed of rotation, the shaft connecting between the turbines and the generator starts rotating. Now, due to the rotation of generator, the AC current, that is the alternating current, is produced, and this current is supplied to powerhouse, and from powerhouse it is supplied to the commercial purposes. So this is how hydroelectric power plant works. So here we have the written working of hydroelectric power plant. Here we have certain advantages of hydropower plant. So we will discuss it one by one. So first is no fuel charges, then its running cost is almost nil. Next, no standby losses. Next, it is highly reliable. Next, its efficiency does not decrease with time. Its construction and operation is very simple. Its maintenance cost is very less. It starts quickly and synchronize very fast. It requires minimum staff for their operation. As it do not produce any ash, so it is pollution free. Also, it is used to control floods. It is used for irrigation purpose. Next, it is comparatively having high life period. So now let's discuss about certain disadvantages of hydropower plant. So here we have few disadvantages of hydropower plant. Let's discuss it one by one. First is its initial cost is very high. Next, it requires long time of erection, means it requires long time for building. Next, the plants are set up at the distinct places, so transmission loss increase. Then it is totally depend upon the availability of water. So it is dependent upon the resource water. Next, it requires larger area for their setup. And the last one is its period of installation time is very high. Next, we will discuss about the second conventional source of energy, that is biomass. Now, what is biomass? Biomass is a fuel that is developed from organic material, a renewable and the sustainable sources of energy, which is used to create electricity. So the resources which come under biomass are garbage, wood, landfills, alcohol fuel or crops. Now let's discuss about biogas. Now what is biogas? Biogas is a renewable source, as it is produced from biomass, so it is a renewable energy source which is produced by breakdown of organic matter by certain bacteria under an anaerobic conditions. Now what is anaerobic conditions? The conditions which occur in the absence of oxygen is known as anaerobic conditions. Next, biomass. What is biomass? Biomass is a mixture of methane, hydrogen and carbon dioxide. The maximum amount of gas which a biogas holds is methane. Now how we can produce it? It can be produced by agricultural waste, food waste, animal dung, manure or sewage. And the process of biogas production is known as anaerobic digestion, as we can obtain biogas from biomass by anaerobic degradation. So, the process of biogas production is known as anaerobic digestion. Let's discuss about the working of biogas plant. What is biogas plant? A biogas plant is a brick and cement structure having the following 5 sections. First, mixing tank. Second, inlet chamber. Third, digester. Fourth, outlet chamber. And the fifth one is overflow tank. Now let's discuss about its working. The various forms of biomass are mixed with an equal quantity of water in the mixing tank. This forms the slurry. Second point, the slurry is fed into the digester through the inlet chamber. Third point, when the digester is partially filled with the slurry, the introduction of slurry is stopped and the plant is left unused for about 2 months. Now during these 2 months, anaerobic bacteria present in the slurry decompose or ferment the biomass in the presence of water. Fifth point, as the result of anaerobic fermentation, biogas is formed which start collecting in the dome of the digester. Sixth point, as more and more biogas start collecting, the pressure exerted by the biogas force the spent slurry into the outlet chamber. Seventh point, from the outlet chamber, the spent slurry overflow into the overflow tank. Eighth point, the spent slurry is manually removed from the overflow tank and used as the manure for plants. Ninth point, the gas valve connected to the system of pipeline is opened when a supply of biogas is required. So here this is the diagram of biogas plant. Now let's discuss about certain advantages of biogas. First, it is a clean and renewable source of energy. Next, it prevents health problems as well as biodiversity loss. Next, it generates organic fertilizers, as you saw in the diagram that the waste produced by biogas plant is enriched in nitrogen and phosphorus, so we can use it as a manure or fertilizers. Next, it reduces soil as well as water pollution. Next, we will discuss about certain disadvantages of biogas. So the first disadvantage of biogas is it contains impurities. So after refinement and compression, biogas still have certain amount of impurities suspended in it. Okay. Next is effect of temperature on biogas production. Biogas generation is affected by the weather, as the minimum optimal temperature that the bacteria need for anaerobic degradation is around 37 degrees Celsius. So the optimal temperature bacteria need to digest the waste is 37 degrees Celsius. So below this temperature anaerobic degradation will not occur. Hope you all understand the topic. Thanks for watching the video. Press subscribe, like and share button for more videos. Thank you.